Hi everyone, Spider-Man 1991 here, and last week I didn't do a review because I was really busy and I had my comics set out, I had the review written, I just couldn't film it. So I decided that since this week, May 15th, that I was only going to get 3 comics this week, so I figured I'd just combine last week's comics with this one's. I'll probably put notice in the description letting you know which comics came out this week and which ones came out last week. But overall, the format's still the same. I mean, I do Independence, then Marvel, then DC next. So structurally it's still the same. I'll just leave a notice which comics came out last week and which ones came out this week. So okay, let's get started with from Dynamite Comics. Green Hornet #2. A Mad Bomber's pretty much going on a rampage. Well, not really a rampage. Just he's done there's been a lot of bombings going on in Chicago. So naturally, Britt Reed wants to figure out who he is, and he uses both his power as the editor of the Daily Sentinel and his identity as the Green Hornet to figure this out. So Britt basically, as Green Hornet, goes and interrogates some criminals. He gets them to swear loyalty to him, and he eventually his search leads him to a butcher shop, which we saw at the end of the first issue, where someone Britt knew was getting a bomb made from this German guy in the basement of the shop. So Britt makes his way to the butcher shop. He finds out who the guy is. He tries to get a name, but the guy won't say anything. It says that all his instructions for the bombings came on records, which gives Britt some evidence. I mean, the Green Hornet some evidence. So he and Kato, after scaring the guy, making him promise only to work for him from now on. Because remember, the Green Hornet, he doesn't operate as a hero. He makes criminals think that he's one of them, another masked criminal. But really, the readers know that, and Britt Reed and Kato know that he's actually doing good. So, anyways, after the Hornet takes care of this, he gets ready to leave the shop, where suddenly he and Kato are surrounded by the police, and that's where the issue ends. Green Hornet by Mark Waid. I'm really enjoying it. It's really nice. It's set back in the 1940s, so it's still got that pulp crime beat to it, which is very nice. Green Hornet Mark Waid is a fantastic writer, and he's doing a great job on Green Hornet. And I have to say, so far, 2 issues in, and I'm really liking this story arc so far. I think right now it's not really leading into anything big, but right now we're just kind of seeing how the Hornet operates and what he does as both Britt Reed and the Green Hornet, which is nice. Very nice intro. This is a very nice beginning story arc to pretty much just anyone who's unfamiliar with the actual Green Hornet comic books. I mean, I did see the movie with Seth Rogen, but I really didn't think that was... I couldn't really figure out how that was really related to the original comic book. But anyways, I would highly recommend Green Hornet to anyone who's who really likes Mark Waid, because right now this is a really great story right now. Okay, moving right along to Marvel, starting with Avengers #11. Pretty much the small squad of Avengers who you can see on this cover. Captain Marvel, Spider-Woman, Black Widow, Sunspot, Cannonball, and Shang-Chi go to AIM Island and to find out and they learn that AIM's building this new weapon, and they want to figure out who's going to buy it. And basically, they go in. Each Avenger's kind of dealing with their own thing. And at the end of the book, though, when they all get ready on the plane ride home, Shang-Chi reveals that he figured out who's buying from AIM and what they're doing and stuff. And that's pretty much what happens. Okay, while I was reading this, I felt like the only one who did anything useful was Shang-Chi. That's the only really useful thing he did. Overall, this book we really didn't get. Shang-Chi was pretty much the only star of this book. He was the only one who found out anything useful. He pretty much kicked a lot of ass. I mean, basically what Black Widow and Captain Marvel and Sunspot and Cannonball were doing it was interesting, but it didn't exactly pay off for them. Really, and once again, this Avengers, I would say trade weight this, okay? Because I say this all the time when I review an issue of Avengers, it's just too slow. So, you know, if you... I mean, I'm not saying that's terrible, okay? Hickman, he's just a slow-paced guy. So, right now, this issue really doesn't do well for holding my interest in the story. But also, I would recommend... Also, it's not really bad, and I hope it does pay off in the end. However, if you haven't been reading Avengers, I would recommend you just wait for the trades, because that will probably make you feel... They'll probably feel like they're moving a lot faster for you, rather than waiting for each one by single issue. Okay, moving right along. Thor, God of Thunder, number 8. Basically, finally, all three Thors meet up with each other. Young Thor, he basically tries to destroy the God Bomb. His plan goes wrong, and he finds himself being blasted off Gore's prison planet, and he winds up on the boat with his future counterparts. So naturally, all three Thors gear up, and as they approach Gore's world, they're ready for battle, and that's where the issue ends. Yeah, God Bomb finally. Okay, for God Bomb, finally, all three Thors are together. It feels like after this whole God Bomb story arc, we're gonna get a break from Gore and everything. Really excited to see how this is gonna end soon. Nevertheless, though, Thor. Nevertheless, I have been enjoying Thor: God of Thunder since the beginning. Very nice, beautiful artwork. That's something I never really talk about much, is artwork. But yeah, the artwork in these issues is beautiful. So that's a very good plus in my opinion. The Thor. Again, once we're kind of go. It is interesting to see Thor from like 3 different views. We have the present day Thor, who's, you know, our usual Thor. He's the Avenger, superhero. Then we have young Thor, who's pretty much very arrogant. And I'd say in this issue, we kind of see his arrogance almost really gets him punished, because we learn that for every time he has an outburst or goes against Gore, apparently Gore tortures another god and sacrifices them. So, you know, that kind of does give young Thor a little lesson in humility. But nevertheless, Thor: God of Thunder, great series. I would highly recommend this to Thor fans. You'll enjoy it. Okay, Uncanny Avengers, number 8. Thor and Sunfire find a recording of the Apocalypse twins in the underground city that Apocalypse was in, which you should remember which some people should remember if they read Rick Remender's Uncanny X-Force run from when Archangel was possessed by Apocalypse, and you know, explains why they're there and what their plan is, and how they have Thor's axe. And also, Captain America finally gets out of his escape pod from the explosion of Sword's space station last issue. He gets out of the escape pod, and at first he's in a very unfriendly part of the world where you don't want to be wearing the American flag. He's able to hide out in a sewer pipe, where he finds a message for him from the future, obviously. And the Apocalypse twins are still continuing their attack on the world. Pretty much, this issue is just like a callback to a lot of stuff that Rick Remender brought in on his run on Uncanny X-Force. Okay, so if you read all of that, then you should get an idea about what's going on in this. If you didn't, though, it will be confusing a bit, because they do reference a lot of things. They're, like I said, Thor and Sunfire are in the hidden city Apocalypse had, and also several times they keep bringing up when Wolverine and the Uncanny X-Force killed the original Kid Apocalypse. So yeah, that's going to be brought. So obviously Remender's doing some callbacks to his Uncanny X-Force run, which I think is great because it kind of connects everything together, especially since the story arc is involving the spawn of Apocalypse. But yeah, very nice. I think if you loved Rick Remender's run, I think fans of Rick Remender's Uncanny X-Force run are going to enjoy this story arc. For those that didn't read it, you might enjoy it, but you're going to be a little confused. Nevertheless, I still like Uncanny Avengers a lot better than Avengers right now, and I really hope to see I really hope this story arc is good. Moving on, Iron Man number 10. More about how 451 played into Tony's beginnings is revealed. What happened was we learned in flashbacks that when Maria found out she was pregnant with Tony, they went to the doctor, and the doctor said that their child would not come to term. So Howard pretty much began this search around the world, going through various places in the Marvel universe, trying to figure out how he could save his son. And eventually his search leads him to a casino known as Area 52 in Las Vegas, which is run by a bunch of aliens. And one of the aliens does manage to help give him some information he needs. He reveals that Area 52 is holding their own recorder, which is Recorder 451. So Howard puts a team together, and which I'm pretty sure some people have seen the previews for from Comic Book Resources, the Stark 7, and two of the members are actually Dum Dum Dugan and Lieutenant Thunderbolt Ross, which is funny. And basically Howard's secret Stark 7 break into the casino, and they get 451 out of there so that Howard could probably use his information to help bring Tony into the world. And back in the present, 451 tells Tony sedates Tony and tells him that he needs his help in order to save the universe. But yeah, Iron Man number 10. Number 10, very nice. Did like the whole casino heist feeling with the Stark 7. That was pretty cool. Also, it is a little interesting seeing about what 451's role in bringing Tony to life, giving life to baby Tony. It's very interesting. I will say that. While I'm talking about it, it does kind of sound interesting. But when you read the story, you will be very intrigued by it. So far I'm liking this. I really like this beginning of how Howard, is doing everything he can to save his son, which is very nice. Something that father would do for his son, and it's just very nice. It's just very cool, and the role of 451 is really the selling point about how everything is kind of connected in a way. And as I said that, I kind of thought back to that scene with the kid in Iron Man 3. Nevertheless, overall, Iron Man 10, very nice issue. The secret origin of Tony Stark, not really sure if I'd call it that. Okay, well maybe right now it works, but I would highly recommend it to people. Check it out. It starts last issue with issue 9 and then goes into this issue. So right now I'm saying Secret Origin of Tony Stark is a lot better than the God Killer story arc we just went through. Okay, now it's time for DC Comics with Smallville, Season 11, number 13. Booster Gold's Legion ring suddenly stops working, and he brings it to Clark Kent, which it then teleports both Booster and Clark to the future. And apparently in the future, there is a new Krypton in the 31st century. But apparently when New Krypton tried to apply to the United Planets, they were refused membership, and suddenly now there's pretty much a huge feud between the Kryptonians and Earth. And right now Earth is pretty much having a problem with the Legion itself. So it's kind of like that story arc from Action Comics known as Superman and the Legion of Superheroes. Here is also Earthman. The Smallville version of Earthman makes an appearance, and also there are appearances by Smallville's versions of Brainiac 5 and Lightning Lad. And anyways, Superman and Booster meet with Brainiac 5 and Lightning Lad, and then Brainiac 5 helps Clark locate one of the prisoners that the Earth government has, which turns out to be Supergirl, Kara Zor-El. And that's where the issue ends. Okay, Smallville season. Okay, this issue of Smallville, the story arc, I like it. Okay, like I said, it's pretty similar to the story arc known as Superman: The Legion of Superheroes, which, if you've read it, you know is that the Legion were declared outlaws, and the Earth government suddenly started to ban aliens on Earth, and that's what and now the Legion was in trouble, so they sent Superman back. So they sent a flight ring to call in Superman. However, in this case, the Legion did want Superman to come back, but they actually had to initiate Protocol 6, which was a protocol to recall all Legion members who are time displaced back into the 31st century. Which, the Legion, when inspecting the ring, Brainiac 5 says he didn't activate it. So, that's some suspicion. Also, they're kind of doing the whole New Krypton story arc by... in case you're wondering, New Krypton came back because of the Kandorians that left Earth at the end of Season 9. It explains it all in here, and also a throwback to Argo City. Hence the title of this story arc, Argo. And also Supergirl, which we know towards the end of Season 10, she left to go into the future because Jor-El told her to. Yeah, so far I'm liking this story arc. Okay, it does remind me of Superman and the Legion of Superheroes. It's got Booster Gold in it. It's got Supergirl. Very nice. I would definitely recommend it if you enjoyed those elements of Smallville. And also, if you're a Legion fan and you like their appearance on Smallville, you should definitely give this story arc a shot. Because one part in it, I'm really liking it. Can't wait for the rest of it. Alright, now, Superboy, number 20. Superboy gets ready to turn himself in to the police because of the whole bank robbery incident that we dealt with since the beginning of the series. And right when Superboy is going to do that, he gets attacked by two agents of the Hive, and after getting some help from Dr. Psycho, he's able to take them both down. And then Dr. Psycho makes an offer. Superboy tells him that the Hive is made up a bunch of these criminals who have telekinetic and telepathic gifts, and now you've become an interest for them. Together we can take them down. And Superboy agrees and decides to work with Dr. Psycho. And just as Superboy agrees to that, we suddenly cut to the cop from the future, Jocelyn Lure, who suddenly has all her material, who's from the 31st century, and right when Superboy makes the deal, all of her stuff suddenly starts disappearing. So, obviously, this is something Superboy has done that's drastically altered the future. Okay, Superboy number 20. This is the first issue written by new writer Justin Jordan. So far, it's not really that different from Scott LaBelle's run, but I'm going to give, since this is a new writer, I'm going to give the story arc a shot. I'm glad that someone new's taken over. Can't wait to see what he has planned for Superboy. Oh yeah, in the beginning of this issue, it did show Superboy in a cell with Crypto. I also want to know how they meet, so that's another reason why I'm holding on to this. So we got a new writer on Superboy. If you didn't like what Scott LaBelle or Tom DeFalco were doing for the past 19 issues, I would say maybe give this story arc a shot because we've got a new writer. Hopefully he can do a lot better job than those two. Not that I'm trying to say that their work was crap, it just wasn't that amazing. So I would say, if you can afford the extra $3, give Superboy number 20 a shot, see how you like it, and maybe give the rest of the story arc a shot with Justin Jordan. Okay? Alright, next up. Justice League of America number 3. After destroying Ivo's androids, the JLA discovers that the Secret Society's base that they were trying to find has vanished, disappeared, it's moved. So, when they get back to the States, Steve Trevor decides that the only way they can find the Society now is if they put in a mole. So they decide to stage an attack, to stage a break-in with Catwoman by using her as bait to sort of infiltrate the Society. She basically breaks in. Since the public doesn't know that Catwoman's a member of the JLA, they have her break into a museum. The JLA go after her, and so they can capture her and she can get into the Society. Basically, the plan works, almost goes exactly off without hitch during the chase, but Green Arrow shows up, and right when he interferes, Trevor and the rest of the League show up and tell him that this is all staged. We need to get Catwoman into the Society to figure out where they are. And Arrow says, "Okay, I'll keep quiet if you give me a spot on the team." And that's how Green Arrow joins the Justice League of America. So anyways, after they take care of Catwoman and lock her in Arkham, she escapes from Catwoman naturally escapes from Arkham, and right when she gets out, and they knock her out, and suddenly Catwoman wakes up and she's tied to a chair, just like how most of the other villains we saw were, and meaning that she's now been inducted to the secret society. Well, not really. She's not an official member yet. She's just been brought to their attention, and they're gonna probably ask her a couple of questions and figure out what to do with her next. So yeah, that's how. Also, co-feature involves Martian Manhunter reading Catwoman's mind. But overall, the main story in this, very nice. Really like this issue. I loved how Green Arrow just sort of snuck his way onto the team like that. That was just funny and very entertaining. Overall, I would say Justice League of America is a great series. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, but so far I'm enjoying it. I can't wait to read the rest of it, and I can't wait for its role in Trinity War. That's going to be awesome. I think right now Jeff Johns is doing right now, I think so far we're getting a better job on Justice League of America than we are on the main Justice League title, so to speak. But yeah, I would highly recommend Justice League of America. You check out Justice League of America because it's pretty awesome. Okay, now Batman number 20. Batman defeats Clayface, and he's able to trap him in a prison that can only be unlocked by someone with the DNA of Bastille Carlos, because since Clayface is mutated, he can now mimic the DNA of anyone he copies. However, due to this mutation, he's forgotten his original DNA, or first form of his original identity before he was infected and became Clayface Bastille Carlos. So Batman traps him in a cage that can only be opened by someone with Bastille Carlos' DNA, and unfortunately, that's not the case. The Clayface is trapped. And in the end, after all this, Bruce talks to Alfred about how he's still not ready to let go of Damian yet, because in the last issue, Bruce was reviewing some old recordings he made of him and Damian when they were Batman and Robin, and Alfred says that it's okay if he's not ready to let go, and then he kind of asks, if he can join him tonight, and they both sit down and they watch the recordings that Bruce made of Damian together, which was a very nice way to end this issue. Batman number 20, very nice. I really do like how Scott Snyder's still touching upon that Batman really isn't over Damian's death. I mean, I'm glad that that's still getting attention right now, because it shows that that this has clearly affected Bruce. It's not something that can just be like, okay, he's dead and we can sort of move on from it. No, not yet. Bruce isn't ready to let go. I thought that was a sweet moment. I really like how in the end Batman kind of is there for Bruce, and also how he's watching the videos with Bruce. That was very nice. But for the Clayface arc itself, I think this was just it was okay, but it wasn't just awesome, full on awesome like we've gone with everything else. I really think right now the Clayface arc was just kind of filler, so that between Death of the Family and Year Zero, which is going to start next month, for just to kill time until that. But nevertheless, Batman, very nice. Scott Snyder does an amazing job on this title. I would highly recommend, if you only want to get one DC book, I would say get Batman, because that right now this is pretty much probably my favorite book by DC. Okay, moving on. Okay, speaking of Batman and Damian, Batman and Robin number 20. Batman and Red Hood number 20. For this is the second part of the whole 5 stages story arc that Bruce is going through after Damian's death, and for this issue he teams up with Red Hood, and together they go after the assassins that Talia hired to kill Damian. Because back at the end of Batman Incorporated, end of the first volume of Batman Incorporated, Talia put $1 billion, I think it was either $1 million or $1 billion on Damian's head, so that got the attention of some assassins, and together Bruce and Red Hood go after the assassins, and Bruce just takes them down, and like this title says, he's in stage 2, that's Rage. So Bruce takes them all down, and then after they take down all the assassins, Bruce then takes Red Hood to the spot where Jason died during his time as Robin. So because Bruce thinks that, you know, if Jason sees this might trigger some memories that could help him figure out how to bring back Damian to life, and also which worked for Jason, so he could probably do the same thing for Damian. And of course, Jason's really disgusted by this. He's furious at Bruce for bringing him here, and they both fight it out, both physically and with words. And ultimately, after they fight and get all their anger out, they go their separate ways. And that's where the issue ends. Batman and Robin right now, very nice. If you really want to get a full, in-depth look at how Bruce is grieving over the loss of his son, I would highly recommend you read Batman and Robin, or Batman and whoever he's teaming up with this week. Last issue it was Batman and Red Robin. Now it's Batman and Red Hood. Next month it's going to be Batman and Batgirl. Can't wait to read that. I'm really liking how they're using each of these issues to do, like I said, the 5 stages of grief. You know, we went through denial, now we're going through rage, next stage is bargaining, and of course it's going to involve Batgirl. So, can't wait to read next month's. This month's was great. Really liking Batman and Robin right now. I highly recommend you give this story arc a shot, even if you haven't read any of the previous issues of Batman and Robin back when Damian was alive. Okay. Now, last comic. Nightwing, number 20. Nightwing's pretty much in Chicago. We also it's confirmed in this issue that Tony Zucco is actually in cahoots with the mayor of Chicago. And also Nightwing, we all know he's in Chicago for Tony Zucco, so his search for Zucco gets him to cross paths with the prankster. And the prankster right now is torturing this corrupt businessman, and when Nightwing breaks in, he frees the guy, then they fight. And during the fight, though, prankster is able to blind Nightwing through his mask, then lock him in a container with only 2 access hatches and 2 switches. One hatch will either be a way out, and the other one will fill with a bunch of oxygen that will cause the. Also, there's an open flame in the chamber that Nightwing's in. Should have mentioned that, but if Nightwing opened the other access hatch, enough oxygen would come in, which would cause the flame to ignite the entire container and kill him in a fiery inferno. So, and Nightwing could easily tell which switch opens which hatch if he takes off his mask. However, if he takes off his mask, then prankster will get a picture of it and post it all over the internet, thus revealing Nightwing's secret identity. And that's where the issue ends. I really like how they're handling the whole Tony Zucco angle with this, because the only reason Nightwing's in Chicago is just for Zucco. It's not like he left because of Damian. He left because he wants to take down the guy who killed his parents. And so far we're seeing that Zucco is obviously heavily protected, okay? He's with the mayor. We have no idea why. I think in theory it has something to do with why there aren't any masks in Chicago. And mask isn't a term just to describe superheroes. It also describes, I think it can also refer to the villains as well, but nevertheless, there haven't really been any superheroes or supervillains in Chicago in a while. We don't know why yet. I really want to get to that. That really sounds like an interesting story. That seems like something that Nightwing might get involved with soon after the prankster's done. But right now, prankster is a lot more, I'd say, deadly than he was pre-New 52. But yeah, prankster is a little interesting villain. Overall, I'd say Nightwing's still a great series. Really one of the best. Probably right up there, right next to Batman as a series. I mean, everyone. This has gotten nothing but positive reviews, and I'm on that team as well. I really think this is a great story that people should get into. And if you have been reading Nightwing, right now I'd still say this is a good time to jump on. Just get last month's issue, number 19, and then and get this one, and you'll pretty much be caught up about where you need to be, so to speak. But overall, Nightwing number 20, very nice. Really loved it. like the cliffhanger ending, even though we all know that Dick Grayson is going to figure a way out that isn't going to involve him exposing his secret. Okay? Yeah. So that's it. That's it for my comic reviews for last week and this week. Thank you for watching. Sorry for the delay with last week's comics. Again, I'll put a notice in the description to kind of separate which ones I reviewed this week and which ones I reviewed last week. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Spider-Man 1991 saying see you later.